Episode number 216.
Hello, you're listening to the Career Changemaker podcast. Having the courage to leave a career that you have worked hard to build and try something else can be tough. So in each episode, we dive into key career change strategies so that you have a clear understanding of what is required to transition into a new role or a new industry without feeling like you have to start at the bottom or have to take a massive pay cut, because ain't nobody got time for that. If you are ready for frank and honest discussions about how to become a career change maker, keep listening. I'm your host, lawyer turned career strategist and executive coach, Janine Esbrand. Hello. How are you doing? I hope you are well. I am excited today. I am going to be talking about personal branding. I'm going to be sharing with you 3 easy ways to build a personal brand, to grow your impact and your income. And this is part of the visibility series that I'm running, that I am focused on different aspects of visibility that female professionals need to really lean into as you are looking to advance in your career quicker. I see a lot of people doing good work and being brilliant behind the scenes and not doing enough to be intentional and strategic about their growth and about their advancement. So we're talking about this today, and I feel like I see people talking about personal branding a lot. You may well too see a lot of people talking about personal branding, and there's good reason for that, particularly in 2023. And so I firstly want to start off, before I dive into the 3 ways that you need to be focused on, I want to start off by talking about the 2 big reasons why there is a need to focus on personal branding if you are someone who wants to accelerate and grow in your career right now. So the first one is the opportunity. Like, we are in a time and a space that allows you to create opportunities in a way that wasn't available before. Before, we had to really lean into waiting for gatekeepers to open opportunities, whether that gatekeeper be a recruiter, or if it be a line manager, or it be somebody within your organization or externally that could open a door for you to be able to move forward and get to where you wanted to get to in your career. So as a woman of color, like, having those barriers could mean that your ability to accelerate and get to where you want to go quicker, it wouldn't be possible. You'd have to stick within the timeline that was laid out. Particularly if you have a professional services background, right? You know that there is a certain amount of time. So when I was practicing as a lawyer, it was very clear to me that, you start off your career and you have to be a trainee for 2 years. And then after you're a trainee for 2 years, you then become a newly qualified lawyer, and you'd have to work as a junior lawyer for a good few years before you'd be able to then get promoted into being an associate. And then you'd be an associate for a certain number of years before you could be a senior associate. And then you'd be a senior associate for a certain number of years before you could be considered for partnership. So that time frame was really something that most people stuck to. There were a few outliers who were able to accelerate that timeline quicker, but typically people just accepted that if I want to make partner, it's going to take me about 10 years from when I qualify to partnership. If everything goes well, it could take me longer. And I think that in many respects, some of those timelines are still relevant, but in a lot of ways, those timelines can be accelerated. And in a lot of ways, people have more opportunity to move things forward and drive things forward, but they don't always recognize it. They don't always recognize it because the way that we've been operating is the way we've been operating for so long. Many things are just accepted. It's like, okay, I have to get my head down and I have to work hard for this many years before I can be recognized for that next level. But what happens if you're actually able to operate at that high level? What happens if you have the ability, you have the skill set, you have the mental clarity to enable you to operate at a high level? Why should you have to wait a number of years when actually you're ready before that? And I think now when it comes to personal branding, there is an opportunity for you to lean into your ability to articulate the value that you can bring sooner than what your timeline may say. And the opportunity is there because you're able to put yourself out there. You're able to build recognition for yourself without having to wait for someone else to do it for you. So that's a big reason why your focus should be on personal branding. Your focus should be on considering what do you want to be known for, and how do you want to be known, and who do you want to be known by, and positioning yourself for that. You have the opportunity to position yourself for that. And that's the reason why there's a lot of talk about personal branding, because there's so much opportunity now with the platforms like LinkedIn, with other social media platforms, with podcasting. There's so many different ways, there's so many different platforms that you could be leveraging to allow yourself to be seen and be known by the right people, to open up opportunities for yourself. So that's the first thing. Opportunity is the reason why so many people are talking about personal branding. And I just want to highlight the fact that oftentimes when people think about social media, the thought is, I don't want to be a YouTube star, and I don't want to be a TikTok influencer, and I want you as a professional, if you are a female professional and you're listening to this, I want you to start thinking about, how does this all apply to me? How does it apply to me? Because yes, we're not saying that you need to go out there and be like dancing on TikTok and be figuring out all those like Snapchat and all of the platforms that many people are on. But what we are saying is there are spaces that you're already in that you can be intentional about your profile, and you can be intentional about how you are showing up. So for example, LinkedIn. Like if you're on LinkedIn and you've been on LinkedIn, but you're just one of those people that's on there and you're just scrolling and you're just seeing what's happening, you are missing a huge opportunity to be more intentional and strategic. There are so many women that I speak to, and it blows my mind the amount of clients that I work with who just say, I opened a LinkedIn profile years ago when I was at my first company, haven't really done anything with it. And I'm just like, do you realize that you're sitting on a gold mine right now, but you're not recognizing it and you're not optimizing it? So first things first, opportunity is the reason why you need to be focused. The other thing is expectation. Now, because we are in a digital age, because we are in a time in history where everything is online, everything is digital, as much as there can be reluctance, and as much as you could be like, that's not really my thing. Like, I don't really want to do the whole social media thing. I don't really want to be on platforms. I don't really want to be putting myself out there. If you want to grow and you want to accelerate and you want to expand in your career, it's something that you're probably going to have to do. And if you choose not to do it, that doesn't mean that people aren't still searching you. So if you meet someone at a networking event, or if you are applying for an opportunity, know that people are going to be searching you. Know that people are going to be going into Google, typing your name in there. And if you have your LinkedIn as your only way that people can see you, i.e. you don't have a website, you don't have other digital presence, LinkedIn is going to be the thing that comes up. LinkedIn is going to be the thing that comes up, and your profile is going to come up. And if they search you and they find a profile that isn't optimized, a profile that doesn't have a picture, a profile that doesn't really say much about you or your experience, you've just missed an opportunity. You've just missed an opportunity to make an impression. You've just missed an opportunity for you to be able to tell them what you want to tell them about you, okay? So the expectation is, at the very least, that you've got an active LinkedIn profile, at the very least. And if people are expecting that if you are doing business with them, if you are interacting with them, if you are applying for opportunities with them, that you are going to have a presence on LinkedIn, then that's a big reason why you need to be doing it. There's a big reason why you need to be prioritizing at least that, at the very least that. And having a profile on LinkedIn, that isn't the be all and end all of personal branding, but that's a very big part of what you need to be optimizing and what you need to be intentional about. So those are the two reasons why having a personal brand, building one in 2023 is important and should be a priority if you are someone who's saying, I want to advance in my career. So the first is the opportunity for you to position yourself out there in a way that you want to, and to accelerate the opportunities that could come your way. And then the second one is expectation, the expectation of other people, of potential hiring managers, of potential partners, of potential clients, that you are going to have a presence on LinkedIn, or that you are going to have a presence somewhere online, so that they can see that what you're saying verbally, whether that be in a meeting or whether that be via a document that you've submitted, and what is the reality matches up. Because if you go into an interview and you're talking about your expertise and you're talking about some of the things that you've done in the past, but then they go check you out on LinkedIn and there's nothing of that, it's like, oh, okay, why not? Whereas if it all aligns, if there's alignment, there's a level of credibility that comes, and there's a level of trust that is built when someone sees you present something, and then they can see that you have either a body of work or you have work that shows what it is that you have been doing. Like, you're saying it on the one hand, and then do you have things to back it up? And the point is that you have the opportunity to build that. You do. So if you're not building it, then it's time to start. So yeah, that's what I want to say in the first instance. Now, let's talk about the 3 ways. So when it comes to the terminology personal brand, sometimes it can feel a bit like, oh, that's a lot. I don't want to be a brand. That's a lot. Really, it's about you sharing your perspective. You sharing your perspective, you sharing about your expertise, you sharing about your opinion, and you doing it in a way where it's consistent and that people can see it so that they start to associate you with that topic. So the first thing, so I want to talk about the 3 things. So the first thing is your topic. The second thing is your audience. And the third thing is your commitment. Topic, audience, commitment. We can say TAC if you want. Topic, audience, commitment. So let's talk about topic first. So when it comes to your topic, it's really about you saying, okay, what do I want people to know me for? Or what do I want them to associate me with? Now, if you are somebody who wants to advance in a particular career or on a particular track, then your expertise, your practice area, what it is that you do is the thing that you want to start getting known for. So if you are a lawyer and your practice area is real estate, I don't know why I said it like that. If your practice area is real estate, or if you're a lawyer and your practice area is corporate, or maybe it's trust, maybe it's private client, you may have a different practice area, or you may not be a lawyer, you may be doing something else, but let's use that example. If that is your practice area, and if that's what you do on a day-to-day basis, then that is an area that you want to start being associated with. You want your name to be associated with that particular thing, so that if somebody is considering, oh, I need to hire a real estate lawyer, you want your name to come up in their mind of like, oh, I've seen some posts from that person and I think I can refer that person. Part of the reason why you're building a brand is so that you can attract opportunities. A big way that opportunities come your way is through referrals. So if you start getting known for your area of expertise and the work that you do, it's easier for you to attract opportunities and it's easier for you to attract clients. Okay, so be thinking about, what do I actually want my name to be associated with? What's your topic? So that's the first thing that you really need to consider and you really need to lean into. And sharing around your topic doesn't have to be hard. It can be just you paying attention to what is your perspective. If there's new legislation, or if there's a new way of doing things, or if there's a new project that's coming up, what do you think about it? What do you think about it? What's your perspective? And rather than you just having that thought to yourself or you sharing it with your colleagues, you could share it more widely. And it's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It can be a small thing, but it's like, take small and consistent action that's going to help you to position yourself for what it is you want to be known for. So that's the first thing. And I think that oftentimes people are thinking about building a personal brand and sharing content and sharing information as like this big, difficult thing. But really, if you have something that you're passionate about, that you're really interested in, that you are committed to, it's about talking about that. One of the people that always bring to mind for me when it comes to like a brand and building that brand and the impact is the lady that runs Pregnant Then Screwed. Her name is Jolie Brearley. And I didn't really know her name. I had to look her up before I came on, but I did know about her brand. And I know that something happened to her in terms of how she was dealt with after she went back to work after maternity leave. And because it happened to her, she was really passionate about it not happening to other people. So her losing her job and being in a position where she was treated differently because she had a child was something that she was really passionate about, passionate that shouldn't happen to people. And that really started her journey with building out this brand. And she was sharing her message consistently. She was sharing her perspective consistently. She's rallying other people around her that believe in the same thing. And ultimately, her action and her continual sharing of her perspective has led to legislation being changed. Around childcare and childcare costs. Like, it's huge. But she had a perspective that she could have kept to herself, but she chose to share it. And because she chose to share it, she then connected with other people who had a similar perspective. And then over time, that work that they do and the thought leadership that she puts out there has led to something bigger than herself. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be the next person who's promoting change in legislation, but what I am saying is that you sharing your perspective and doing it consistently can lead to big things, and you don't know what that might look like for you. Okay, so pick your topic and pick it around something that you're actually interested in, that you desire to talk more about, and then you can just talk about it publicly. So that's the first thing, topic. The second thing that you want to be thinking about is your audience. Who are you talking to and why? So this is a big piece of the whole thing, right? When you're thinking about building a brand or you're thinking about putting yourself out there, why? What is the outcome? Is it that you want to get a promotion? Is it that you want to land an opportunity externally? Like, depending on what your goal is, that will dictate and determine who your audience is. So if you are somebody who's like, I want to get a promotion, then your audience is actually your organization. Your audience is internal. So rather than you focusing on, okay, I need to build a profile on LinkedIn, that might be something you're doing, but it isn't your primary. If you know that you want to get a promotion, then your internal visibility is what's the most important, because you want to make sure that people within the organization are seeing you. People in the organization understand what it is that you're doing. So often when we are looking to advance in our careers, we only focus on the first part of like, I need to land a new opportunity. But then once we get into the organization, once we start working there, we forget the importance of continual visibility. We forget that we need to make sure that the right people know who we are. You can be working within an organization for years and yet like leadership doesn't really know who you are. Like nobody beyond your immediate team know who you are and what it is that you do here. When you are working within an organization, you want to make sure that you are visible for the right things within that organization. I remember the other day, I came downstairs. I was upstairs doing something and I came downstairs and I saw my 5-year-old daughter making a packed lunch. When I say she was making a packed lunch, she had her packed lunch box out. She had the bread out. She was making a sandwich. She was buttering the bread. She had all the things laid out that she was going to use. And I was just like, what is happening? What are you doing? And she was like, I'm making my lunch. And I was like, wow, okay. Like I've never seen her do that before. I didn't even know she was able to do that. And then when I mentioned to her, like, oh, okay, you're making lunch. Are you also making lunch for your brother? She has a brother who's 7. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to make his lunch, but I'm doing mine first, because I was thinking that if I try and do both at the same time, I might not do either well. I was like, okay. This 5-year-old doing nothing. And what occurred to me is that as I am busy with mumming, right? If I'm busy parenting, I'm busy in business, I'm busy wifing, like you are doing things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis. And while I'm doing that, the children are growing. While I'm doing that, their abilities are expanding. While I'm doing that, they are developing in areas that I don't always notice unless the context comes up. Like I didn't know that she could make a sandwich because like I hadn't seen her do it before. Maybe that was the first time that she attempted it, but she couldn't do it. And I think that sometimes when we're within organizations and within teams, we forget that the skill set that you are developing outside of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis isn't something that is seen by everybody. Because if you are taking a personal or professional development course, or you are attending different things, or you are going to different trainings and you are meeting new clients and you are experiencing different things that is growing you as an individual, the outcome of those experiences isn't always something that other people can see, because those people are busy doing what they're doing. They're busy managing, they're busy working, they're busy executing on their day-to-day role or their day-to-day responsibilities, right? And so for you, you need to recognize that as you are growing and as you are developing and as you have more and more to bring to the table, everyone isn't always seeing that. Everyone isn't always seeing that. And so it's your responsibility to make sure that what needs to be seen and what needs to be known about your ability is known and it is seen. Because you're going to get promoted and you're going to be able to be in a higher position when people recognize that you have the ability to operate at that level. You may not have done the role before and you may not have operated in that specific role, but your capacity to lead or your capacity to execute can be demonstrated before you're even in the role. So that's why it's important for you to have a finger on the pulse when it comes to your visibility internally, and not just think visibility is only if I'm looking for a role externally. Like it's so important. Oftentimes when I work with clients who are looking to make a move to another organization, it stems from them feeling overlooked. It stems from them feeling overlooked or undervalued where they are right now. And as I mentioned on the previous live stream, a lot of that is because they aren't taking the time to make sure that they are seen. And they're just assuming that other people need to notice. And so internal, then you need to make sure that you're strategic about how you're positioning yourself internally if you want to go for a promotion. If your goal is to increase your visibility externally and you want to be headhunted for an opportunity, or you want to position yourself for an opportunity elsewhere, you want recruiters to be reaching out to you, then your strategy is going to be different. But you still need to be thinking about who is my audience and who do I want to get in front of so that you can be showing up in the right places. So audience is key. Audience is really important. And then the last thing that you want to be thinking about is your commitment. It's your commitment. How committed are you to building out a brand that represents you and what it is you are here to do and the work that you are excited about? The commitment is key, because you can't just show up one day and have one conversation and be like, yeah, I've done my bit. It's like, okay, what cadence can you commit to? How frequently can you commit to sharing your perspective? How frequently can you commit to making sure that you are building relationships and getting in front of the right people? If you have a goal, you want to be thinking, okay, long term, what's my time scale? When am I trying to get there? Is it 6 months? Is it 12 months? What kind of career moves am I trying to make? And then be working backwards from there and asking yourself the question, what needs to happen consistently in order for me to get there? So the commitment is the third piece of the puzzle when it comes to building a brand. So it's and when I say these are 3 easy ways, it's like they are easy. It's not always simple, right? It's not always like, oh, okay, I know exactly what I need to do, but it's easy. It's like I need to think about a topic that is relevant for me and that I want to get known for. I need to understand who I'm even talking to, who am I trying to get in front of? And then I need to be committed. I need to be committed so that I can keep moving forward. And when you do those things, you will see that your impact grows, because you start to get known for a particular thing and people start to know you for that, and then people start to ask you questions, and then you're able to continue to grow and continue to share around your topic or your subject matter expertise, and your income will grow. You can then look at, how do I command a higher salary? How do I go into my negotiations differently? Because once you start to get known for what it is you know, for your expertise, when it comes to positioning yourself for salary increase or an increase in an offer, you will be clearer on the value that you bring to the table so that you can articulate it. So it isn't just, I'm just another associate, or I'm just another professional in this space. It's like, oh no, I am, but also I understand what I can bring to the table, and I have built some kind of following, or I've built some kind of recognition for myself. And that not only helps you with accelerating your career, but it also helps your organization. If your organization have more people who take their personal brand seriously, and that personal brand aligns with what the organization does, that's also advertising for them as an organization. And so you get to position yourself not as just someone who just goes in, has their head down, but as someone who understands the broader landscape, as someone who understands that nothing happens in a vacuum. It's not just you at your desk doing your work, but you're at your desk doing your work for a reason. To serve your clients and the clients in an industry, right? And that industry is there to make an impact in some kind of way. When you can start thinking about things at a higher level, and you're part of the conversation when it comes to your industry, when it comes to events, when it comes to developments in your space, it's so much easier to broach the subject as to why it is you're bringing value and why it is you should earn more, right? Than just doing what everyone else is doing. So ultimately, if you want to have results that most people don't have, you're going to have to do what most people aren't willing to do. I know. When I heard that the first time, I was like, oh, okay. Ouch. But it's true. If you want to have results that most people don't get, you've got to do the work that most people aren't willing to do. And building a personal brand is one of those things. I know that in the space, as I work as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, personal branding is a given. Right? People are like, okay, you're building a business, you need to build a personal brand. When I was working as a lawyer and my main focus was being in the professional services space, that wasn't a given. And now that I've come out and I look back, I'm like, why not? Why not? I wish I had known these things when I was practicing as a lawyer. I wish I had taken them on board. I wish I had fully embraced them, because I would have definitely stood out even more as a lawyer, because most people don't do it. And so if you're in a space where you're thinking like, oh, this isn't really how we do things, it's fine. It may not be how you do things, but it is how you can stand out. And ultimately, if you're looking to move forward, you want to stand out. So that is what I want to share with you, the 3 easy ways to build your personal brand, to grow your impact and your income. If you want some support with this, if you're like, yeah, this all sounds good, but like how? Like the how. I did break down the main areas of focus, but I go deeper with my clients on this and support my clients in helping them to position themselves and feel comfortable with building a brand that not only reflects them, but has them doing the things that feels okay to them, and not like, I don't want to put myself out there, or, oh, can I really do this? Helping them to overcome those hurdles and actually get visible in a way that feels good and is exciting is something that I love to do. And I am just opening up enrollment on my program that is going to support with that. So the Career Changemaker program is going to support you with figuring out what your thing is, like what your unique positioning needs to be from a topic perspective, and from what it is you do and what value you bring, and then helping you with your visibility plan. Like, how do I get visible? Where do I get visible? How do I position myself? What does that all look like? And then helping you to then be in a position where you know how to talk about the value that you bring. Because ultimately, we want to attract opportunities through our personal brand. It's not building a personal brand for personal brand's sake. We want to have a goal. So if it is, I want to get promoted. If it is, I want to land a new job. If it is that I want to put myself out there so I can attract more clients to my organization, whatever it is, we want to make sure that you're building a brand that helps that goal and drives that goal forward. And so we're going to be covering all of that inside of the program. So I'm excited about it. All right. Take care. Bye.
Hey. What I know to be true from working with over 100 amazing female professionals is that you may be the best kept secret in your organization, in your industry, in your space. And there are opportunities out there waiting for you. So if you are somebody who wants to take up one of those opportunities, if you want to make a big, bold move in the next 3 to 6 months, and you want to do it in a way that isn't stressful, that isn't time consuming, that doesn't have you feeling burnt out, then lean in, because the Career Changemaker program is back, and we are looking to support 10 female professionals who are ready to move into a role with more impact, more meaning, and more pay in the next 3 to 6 months. If you want to understand how to leverage your existing experience, how to position yourself to attract opportunities to you so you don't have to chase them, and land a role that allows you to position yourself as a thought leader in your space, you want to apply for this cohort of the program. We start on the 1st of May and we will be running for 3 months, and there are a limited number of spots. So if this sounds interesting to you, if this sounds like what you need right now in terms of support, then I encourage you to apply without delay. Head over to careerchangemakers.com/CCM program, submit your application, I will review it, and if I think that the program could be a good fit, we can jump on a call and explore what that looks like. So make your application today, because we haven't got long before we get started. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to today's episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, then I want to remind you that caring is sharing. Share this episode out with somebody else, and head over to your podcast app to leave us a rating and review. For every rating and review that you leave, it helps us reach more people. It helps more people find the show. So I'd appreciate it if you go and do that right now. Thank you so much.